Hello everyone and welcome you all to Quick Solutions for All India Akash Test Series Medical 2019. Today I am going to take up the zoology part of the test paper, which is test paper number 1, code A and B, and this paper was held on 29th of July 2018. So let's get started with our very first question. Question number 136. The sizes of crows and parrots are not very different, yet their lifespans show wide difference. This suggests that. So basically this question demands for the relationship between the lifespan of an organism to its size. What is lifespan? Lifespan is the duration, it is the period between the birth of an organism to its natural death. Now if we have a look at the lifespan of the two organisms given in this statement, that is crows and parrots, so we know that crows have a lifespan of around 15 years. Whereas parrots have a lifespan of around 140 years. So you can see there is a significant difference in the lifespan of these two organisms, but not in their sizes. So we can suggest that necessarily there is no correlation between the lifespan of an organism to its size. So option number 2, let's read it. Lifespan of organisms are not necessarily correlated with their sizes is a correct answer. Let's read the other options also. The first option says, death of every individual organism is certain. This statement is correct, but it is not suggested by the above said statement. Third option is, no individual is mortal except single-celled organisms. This statement is correct, but it is not suggested by the above said statement. The fourth option is, lifespans of all organisms fall between the two extremes set by the lifespan of above two organisms, that is crows and parrots. So option number 1 is incorrect, option number 3 is incorrect, and option number 4, it is an incorrect statement. So let's put it in box. Option number 2 is a correct answer. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 137. Death of a single cell represents death of an organism. This holds true for. So before attempting this question, we must understand what are single cell organisms and what are multicellular organisms. In single cell organisms, which will perform all essential functions for its survival. And the death of the single cell will represent the death of a whole organism. Alright. In case of multicellular organism, which consists of many cells, different cells perform different functions for the survival of the organism. So even if a single cell will die, it will not represent the death of a whole organism. So for this question, we have to select an organism which is single celled. Because in single cell organisms, the death of single cell will represent the death of whole organism. So the very first option given is apis. And apis is commonly known as honeybee. It's an arthropod and a multicellular organism. So this cannot be an answer. Second option is aphis. Aphis is a apple aphid. It's a tree bug and an arthropod and a multicellular organism. So this cannot be an answer. Our third option is amoeba, and we all know that amoeba is a single-celled organism. So our correct answer is option number 3. The fourth option given is actinodites, and actinodites are commonly known as the great penguins. These are the flightless birds and are multicellular organisms. So this cannot be an answer. So our correct answer is option number 3. Let's write it here as well. Answer is option number 3, that is amoeba. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 138. Poikilothermic animal with epidermal scales lacking cutaneous glands with approximate lifespan of around 140 years is. So for this question, we must know that what are poikilothermic animals. Poikilothermic animals are cold-blooded animals. And these animals, they cannot maintain their internal body temperatures. And these animals are like reptiles. They are cold-blooded animals. On the contrary, we have homeothermic animals, which are warm-blooded animals, which can maintain their internal body temperature. They can maintain a constant body temperature. And these are birds and mammals. These are birds and mammals. So poikilothermic animals are like reptiles, amphibians. So basically in this question, the characteristics given are poikilothermic animal with epidermal scales and lacking cutaneous glands represents class Reptilia. So the very first option given is parrot, and we know parrot is a bird and birds are homeothermic. So this is an incorrect option. The fourth option given is elephant, and elephant is a mammal and is a homeothermic animal. So this is an incorrect option. Option number 2 and 3, that is crocodile and tortoise, are reptiles. Now crocodiles have a lifespan of around 60 years. Whereas tortoise have a lifespan of around 100 to 150 years. In the question, the animal has a lifespan of around 140 years. And as per the question, the most appropriate answer would be option number 3. Let's put it in box and write it here as well. Answer is option number 3. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 139. The chromosome number in a gamete of Drosophila is 4. What is the chromosome number in myocytes of musca? Now what are myocytes? Myocytes are the diploid cells which differentiate to form haploid gamete. So, if the chromosome number in gametes is 2, the chromosome number in myocytes will be 4. Now, in the question, the chromosome number in gametes of Drosophila is given, that is 4. So, chromosome number in gametes is 4. So, what will be the chromosome number in myocytes? It would be doubled. So, they have 8 number of chromosomes in their myocytes. Now, we know that musca have 6 number of chromosomes in their gametes. So, how many number of gametes will be there in their myocytes? There would be 12. So, the correct answer is option number 2. Let's put it in box. Answer is option number 2. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 140. Select the statement or feature that is incorrect with respect to external fertilization. Now, what do you mean by external fertilization? External fertilization is when male and female gametes fuses outside the female body in the surrounding medium, which could be water. So, this is external fertilization. The very first statement says that gamete formation and fusion occurs in external medium, that is water. Now, gamete formation, that is gametes, are formed by the process known as gametogenesis, and this occurs in gonads, and this occurs inside the body. So this is an internal process. So the statement is incorrect because gamete formation is an internal process and it doesn't occur in the external medium. Although fusion occurs in external medium in case of external fertilization. So this is an incorrect, and the question asks for the incorrect statement. So this is an correct answer. The second statement says that organisms involved in external syngamy. By syngamy we means fusion of gametes. Organisms involved in external syngamy are generally anemniotes. What are anemniots? Anemniots are organisms like fishes and amphibians. They lay eggs in water, so they exhibit external fertilization, and they lack amniotic membrane, which is an extra embryonic membrane. So the second statement is true, and this cannot be a correct answer. The third statement is simultaneous release of gametes by male and female increases chances of zygote formation, and this is true because when the male and female gametes are released in the external medium simultaneously, the chances of fertilization will be more. Fourth option says that disadvantage involved is susceptibility of gametes to predators and natural calamities, and this is also true because as the gametes are released outside the body into the external medium, they are more prone to predations. So our correct answer is option number 1. Let's discuss the next question. Question number 141. Select the correct match between column 1 and column 2. All data given is in context of animals. So in column 1, the very first option given is cell differentiation, which says that it involves differential expression of genes that give rise to different cell types, though all cells in an animal contain the same DNA. And this is a correct option. In animal body, all cell contains the same genetic material, and they only vary based on the differential expression of genes. So cell differentiation involves this differential expression of genes. The second option is drones. These are males in honeybee and produce sperms meiotically, and this is an incorrect statement because they are produced parthenogenetically from unfertilized eggs. So this is an incorrect option. The third option is zygote. It's a vital connecting link between members of two generations resulting from asexual and sexual reproduction. So this is an incorrect statement because zygotes are not formed by asexual mode of reproduction. They are always formed by the fusion of male and female gametes in case of sexual mode of reproduction. The fourth option is gemule formation. It is a method of reproduction in spongilla. Spongilla is a freshwater sponge. Where each archaeocyte of a gemule give rise to new sponge upon return of favorable conditions. And this is an incorrect option because one gemule consists of many archaeocytes, and this whole gemule and not one archaeocyte will give rise to whole sponge body. So this is an incorrect option. So the correct answer is option number 1. Let's put it in box. Answer is option number 1. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 142. Read the statements given below. The very first statement is clonal members of a population exhibit low adaptability. And this is true because clonal members are formed by asexual mode of reproduction. And this asexual mode of reproduction forms clones which are morphologically and genetically copies of their parents. So they have a low adaptability. Whereas on the other hand, sexual reproduction brings genetic variability and they are more adaptable. The second option is after initial supply of yolk has been exhausted, growing individuals such as amphibian tadpole must seek its food from surrounding water. In amphibians, the zygote or developing embryo, they will utilize the nutrition from the yolk sac. and then they will develop into a free living larval form called tadpoles. These tadpoles then now freely swims in water and feeds on the planktons. That means they are herbivores. So this statement is true. The third statement is that all mammals retain the developing young ones in their body for a much longer time period for protection and nourishment. So the third option is incorrect because we have some exceptions in this case. The last statement is life expectancy, a characteristic feature of a species, is nearly 67 for humans according to recent survey conducted in India. And this is an incorrect statement because life expectancy is not a characteristic feature of a species, but it is a characteristic feature of population. The question asks for the correct options. So the correct answer is option number 1, that is 1, A and B are the correct statements. So answer is option number 1. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 143. Metastress and diestress phase observed in estrus cycle of dogs is comparable to luteal phase of primates. Which hormone is responsible for heat period prior to these phases in animals such as dogs? In estrus cycle, we have 4 phases, which is represented in this diagram. The first phase is proestrus phase, which is a non-fertile phase. The next stage is estrus phase, which is a fertile phase and is the heat period phase in the complete estrus cycle. The next phases are metastress and diestress phases, and these 2 phases coincides with the luteal phase of menstrual cycle in primates. Now, the pre-estrus, metastress and diestress phases are non-fertile phase, and the only fertile phase in this complete cycle is estrus, and it is the heat period phase. That is, estrogen levels are high, whereas in the last 2 phases, progesterone levels are high. So in the question, we have to find out that which hormone is responsible for heat period to these phases such as in dogs. So it is estrogen whose high level will increase the sexual receptivity of females in non-primates. So the answer is option number 3. Let's discuss the next question. Question number 144. Physical stimulus of mating triggers pituitary for LH surge resulting in ovulation. This is observed in. This question emphasizes on the reflex ovulators or induced ovulators. Reflex ovulators or induced ovulators. These are those organisms in which coitus will stimulate the ovulation. Coitus will stimulate ovulation. How? Because the vaginal stimulation will stimulate hypothalamus to release GnRH, and this gonadotropin releasing hormones will stimulate anterior pituitary to release LH, and this surge in LH will lead to ovulation in these organisms. The organisms which are reflex ovulators are rabbits, camel, llama, ferret, cat, etc. So among the given option, the correct answer is option number 4, that is rabbit. Rabbit is a reflex ovulator. So the correct answer is option number 4. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 145. Sexual reproduction in animals. First option is can be uniparental or biparental. This is a correct option because in case of sexual reproduction, the parent could be uniparental as in case of monoecious parent or hermaphrodite organisms. Or they could be biparental in case of dioecious organisms or dioecious parents. The second option is it ensures rapid multiplication as it is a faster process, and this is an incorrect option because sexual reproduction is slow, elaborate, and complex process. It's not a faster process, but it's a slow and complex process. The third statement is it occurs only under favorable conditions, and this is incorrect because it also occurs in unfavorable conditions also. The last option is it requires the formation of gametes but never gamete fusion, and this is incorrect because sexual reproduction always requires fertilization, which is fusion of gametes, which will ultimately form zygote. So the correct answer is option number 1. Let's discuss the next question.